And what are some ways that you can think of that it's best where an SLP and a social worker could really collaborate well together to assist students? I mean, whether just ideas you have or even just from your own examples, what are some things that you can think of?
Well, I will say as a school psychologist, perhaps even more because SLPs are so involved in eligibility evaluations. The SLP was just side by side with myself as a school psychologist. And that is because communication, of course, is just the essence of how we all relate to each other, how we get along, how we learn. And so it was just, the SLPs to me were just so critical to help everybody understand what the communication needs were for any of the students we were evaluating. And then beyond that, what they needed to treat or take care of in terms of those communication needs. And so I would say maybe even more so than the social workers, because we were so much a part of the evaluation team. I have many, many fond experiences of spending many hours with SLPs. Just
too many.
Yes, no, not too many. Although I have told you I took a trip with 21 SLPs one time.
I know. I had to applaud you for that. I'm sure you have stories. We know.
Podcast, yes. And so, but the value of understanding communication and what the needs are for a student in a learning environment where learning is not just academic, but it's social, and making sure they have all those pragmatic skills that they need. It just was incredibly valuable to really team up with the SLP on that side of it. The other side is, as you know, as an SLP, the cognitive evaluations and those communication evaluations, they often needed to sync up with each other. Mm-hmm. And if they did not, we'd want to ask the questions. Why is mine looking like this and yours looking like that? So absolutely incredibly valuable time. And again, I cannot add up the number of hours that I have spent talking with SLPs about students. And it's so valuable.
Yeah, and I'm glad you pivoted to the school psych SLP relationship because, again, you're going to guarantee you will be working with one if you're lucky enough social work. But you're exactly right. I think that is such an important, I relied so heavily on the school psychologist in my schools because, again, if I was testing and to see, okay, am I seeing the correct things? Or even I always like to, if possible, to have the school psychologist start their testing first because I would always go and say, okay, I'm going to start my testing next. And just to kind of see if there's anything that I needed to know or be aware of before starting. And that often would just help to just start the testing off smoother and to make sure that I was starting off on the right foot with the student. But again, for sure, before any IEP meeting, it was always so important to have that discussion because we never wanted to get into an IEP meeting and say, oh, wait, you got that? I got this. Like none of this is adding up. So I think it is such an important relationship. And if you are not staying in touch and communicating regularly with the school psychologist as an SLP, you absolutely should. And just kind of make that part of your schedule.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed.